Are newborn nappies worth it? No. Cost-wise, no. But also 100% yes. So I'm going to have to explain that, aren't we? Blimey, this postpartum regrowth. Oh. Good coffee. That is good coffee. Let's dive in for a chat. The thing is, you're not going to be using newborn nappies for very long. Average baby can fit into them for 3 months. If you're one of my babies, you'll fit into them for a month. So they just grow out of them really quickly. The other thing to note is that birth to potty will averagely fit a newborn from 1 to 2 months. So although your newborn nappies might fit longer, if you've got a smaller baby fit even longer than that, you could get them in birth to potty nappies from younger. Are newborn nappies worth it from that perspective? No. And they will cost less than a full stash of nappies, birth to potty nappies, but you're still not going to make your money's worth. But there's a whole host of reasons that you should use them anyway if you want to, and there's ways to keep costs down. So let's dive into it. Okay, firstly, I'll give you the nitty gritty numbers. The average baby in the first 3 months of life will use, if you're using disposables, about 30 to 60 pounds worth of nappies. They cost about 3p each. It's not a lot. Obviously it depends on what kind of nappies you use. The cheapest ones I found were Aldi ones, were 3p, and then obviously Pampers and stuff were more expensive, but an average of £30 to £60 UK money. Even if you did it on a budget, newborn nappies is going to cost you a minimum of about £100. So that comparison, it doesn't compare. If you're using from birth to potty, the one size nappies later on, that's going to save you so much money. It could save you in the thousands, hundreds definitely, potentially in the thousands, but that's not going to happen with newborn nappies. So you've got to decide for other reasons whether it's worth it to you and if it's in your budget to do so. Now, I said the cheapest you could probably do newborn nappies was for about £100. That's going on using muslins and wraps. What did I personally spend? I've worked it out and it was about £230. So compared to spending £30 to £60 on disposables, I spent about £230 on cloth nappies for those, literally the first month. It sounds completely like it's not worth it at all. It might be that it's not worth it for you. Reasons it was worth it for me is, number one, I have used those nappies on 2 children now. I did invest a few more in my second baby because I kind of knew what I'd liked and knew what I'd need to do it full time, but most of them have been used on 2 babies, so that's bringing the cost down for starters. Second is that you're not going to use them for very long, therefore they're going to stay in really pristine condition, making it really easy to sell them on. The ones I got first for my daughter I didn't like at all, and I sold, they were close parent pop-in ones. I know loads of people get on with them, but I just couldn't. I love the birth to potty of them, but for whatever reason, the newborn ones, when I first started using them, I just couldn't get on with them, so I sold those. So you can sell them on really easily because they'll be in good nick, which also means that if you wanted to, you could buy pre-loved ones, second-hand ones that will be in good nick, and you can get a good price for them. So that's a way of keeping the budget down if you want to spend less than £230. For example, like the Bear and Boho ones I've got, or the Baba and Boo ones, I think I'll get a really good price for them. I'm keeping them for now because I don't know whether I'll have another baby. There's potential for it. We probably won't, but we might. So for now, I've packed them away, I've stored them away, and I'm keeping them really nice in case. And if I don't, then I can sell them in the future or pass them on to friends. Lastly, they're worth it for me because I just believe they're better for baby. They have got a good bulk which puts baby's hips in a good position. They're comfy for baby, especially on newborn sensitive skin. You can use really natural fibres like cotton, you can use wool covers, bamboo. I just really like it on newborn skin, and that for me was 100% worth it. Also, the sense of achievement of using a cloth nappy from the very beginning and not putting any disposables into landfill, not using up resources that we didn't need. It's just 100% worth it. And all those muslins that I said about, they are now going to be repurposed as cleaning cloths. Some of the ones that are in better condition I still use for like wiping faces. If I have another baby, I've stored some of the really good condition ones away to use them for another baby. Then I'll use them for mopping up sick or doing whatever, and again at the end of their life they'll get used as cleaning cloths. I will never throw them away. They will be 100% used all the way. And also I've remembered the fact that I've saved so much money from birth to potty on my daughter, and now I'm using some of her nappies for my second son, and I added a few more nappies in, but I really didn't spend much on him. I've probably spent on cloth nappies in total, birth to potty ones, maybe £500–600, and will have used them for 4+ years over 2 children, so potentially more, you never know. And saved money on birth to potty nappies, so I didn't mind the fact that I've spent a little bit more on newborn nappies, and I did it over the course of quite a long time, so I didn't feel the pinch of spending money on nappies, so it didn't bother me that much. But if you are in a position that money's an issue, or you're trying to really budget, then it might be something that you think, do you know what, I'm not going to do it for the first couple of months, and I'm just going to go straight into birth to potty, and that is absolutely fine. Is it too much work to use newborn cloth nappies? And of course it is a bit more work, but the main thing is to have your partner on board with it. If your partner's on board with it, it's absolutely no problem. I know that Matt really found, like, sounds really corny and weird, but like purpose in washing nappies when we had a newborn, because I would be sat feeding and stuck, and so his way of like helping out would be to make sure I was fed, to make sure the nappy wash was on, hang out the nappies, then, you know, rock baby when I needed him to, or whatever, and that made him like really feel like he was helping out, and that's really important. If you didn't have a partner's help in those first few weeks, or family help to wash nappies, I would say don't do it, because you're just stuck feeding, you're sore, you probably don't want to be hanging up nappies in the first few days. So unless your partner's on board, maybe don't do it. But if they are and they're willing to help out, even if it's, you know, holding the baby while you do some washing, whatever, or if they're just, it's really great if they can do the washing for you in that first couple of weeks, because otherwise it's too much. We also had help from family as well. So it was June when Xavi was born, but we had really bad weather. It was raining for days, so we couldn't hang any of our washing outside, and it wasn't the nappy washing that was so bad, but it was everything else. Like, you have to change sheets with a newborn because there's just sick everywhere and fluids everywhere. I forgot how many clothes I went through because you get milk on things, or they split up on you, or whatever. You just seem to have so much washing with a newborn. So my mother-in-law very kindly would come round and say, have you got any washing? And Matt would take it all out of the washing machine for her, give it to her. She would take it home and dry it for us, whether that was hang it up on her line, 'cause she's got a much bigger line, or put it in her tumble dryer for us. And that just helped out a million times. And then after the first couple of weeks, we got into a routine and it was absolutely fine. A really common thing to come out of newborn nappies and cloth nappies in general, which you wouldn't think, is when I've spoken to other cloth nappy mums, and I know Baba and Boo did a poll on this recently on a community Facebook group for cloth nappies, say what has come out of cloth nappying for you, and so many said mental health wise it was a positive effect, because things can feel so like mental with a newborn and with a baby, and sometimes that can have a negative effect on mother's mental health, or anyone, like any parent's mental health. And they found that the monotony and the routine of putting nappies in, the sense of achievement and hanging them up, it just really helped them in a routine with their mental health. And that might sound crazy, but it is really true. So if that is something that you feel might help you, then I would totally encourage you to use cloth nappies in the early days. The other thing you can do if you're worried about budget is, like I said, use muslins. There's a really, I will link to some good tutorials on using muslins for you on newborns. So you can use those, they're really cheap. You can get them for as low as £1.50 a muslin. I really like the designer ones because they're nice and big and made of organic natural cotton. They, I believe, are about £3 each, but still really cheap. £3 for a nappy is really cheap, and then you just need a wrap to go over it, but you can use a wrap on several nappies. So that is a cheaper way to do it, and I think you could do that for £100 or less to do that full time. You can also rent newborn nappies. I again will leave some links to some good places that you can rent them from, so you're not buying them, you just rent them for as long as you need them, then you can send them back. Obviously a paid service, but it works out much cheaper. or you could contact a local nappy library, and there are nappy libraries that will do it from far away and send them to you, so it doesn't necessarily have to be local to you, which I didn't know. There wasn't any local to me when I had my first daughter, so I didn't look into it more. I was just like, oh, I don't have a nappy library, so I won't rent from them. But you can find some online that will send some out to you, and again, I will link some good places to find those kind of things. So you can rent them, you can utilise nappy libraries, you can utilise vouchers if your council give them out. Many councils do give vouchers to buy nappies to help you with the cost, pre-loved, or just buy them and hope that you'll use them for a second baby, or buy them and sell them on. So I hope that's helped you decide whether it's a good idea to use newborn nappies or not. They are my reasons for it being 100% worth it, even though financially on paper it doesn't look like it's worth it at all, but it is for the environment, I believe, for your baby and for you guys at home. So enjoy cloth nappying your newborn if you wish to do it. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. That is such good coffee. Something's going right today.